I'm Anya. I'm at a point, man, recording the 4th video tonight of another tarot deck. Hitting a point, man. Y'all, what do I got to say anymore? Anyway, I'm still Anya. I'm still here showing off tarot decks. Unboxings of tarot decks you've probably all seen before, but that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm learning how to make videos, and I'm having fun, damn it. I'm having so much fun, damn it. This one is Legacy of the Divine. This is also a beautiful tarot deck. Man, I don't buy tarot decks if they ain't beautiful. I don't buy tarot decks if they don't speak to me in some way, and that's the reason I bought this one. I bought this box, well, this deck, same time I bought Tarot of the Vampires. Why did I buy Tarot of the Vampires? Not because I wanted to read with the deck, but because I really loved every picture I saw from it. I just loved. I looked at the characters and the figures in those cards, and I was just like, I want to write about these characters. I don't know why. There was just something, that's what pulled to me. Same time, while I was in Scotland, one of my Scotland vacations, I also ordered this one. And why did I order a second tarot deck? I wasn't going to, but I decided to because I had been talking to my friend like, oh no, I can't buy another tarot deck. I just bought one for like 20 pounds. Well, how much is this one? Oh, I think it's another 20 pounds. And he's just sitting there like, you know what I collect? Instruments. Spend 40 pounds and get yourself 2 tarot decks. And you know, when you think about it like that, I'm like, well, at least I have a slightly more affordable hobby. Okay, I know in one of my videos I talked about how I like decks coming in small boxes. Obviously, this box is the size of my head. It's not a small box. But perks of big boxes, it comes with a big old guidebook. Love big old guidebooks. I love big old guidebooks for tarot decks because it allows me to get inside the brain of the artist or the person who worked really closely with the artist so that we can get more great and beautiful insight about the deck and the imagery and all that fun stuff. So this deck comes with a big old badass guidebook, and I love that. I have to admit, I haven't even read the guidebook, but to be fair, I also have not read with this deck. Why? Because I have other main decks, man. Like, I'll be honest, I have other decks that I work with regularly and that are my main decks, and sometimes you buy a deck because you're like, I want to have it and maybe I'll read with it, but then you don't read with it. But also, this is a mass market produced deck, and one problem I find with a lot of mass market produced decks is cardstock. And kind of, this somehow ends up being my test for all cardstocks, especially in videos. Just, you can see it's like, if you compare it to other videos, I guess why I do that is because it does actually sound a lot more like paper as opposed to some of the other ones where you can hear it. I don't want to say it has more of a hollow sound, but it has a thicker sound. This feels very light. It does feel more like paper. It is slightly more flimsy. It feels a little bit more like paper. So that is one issue I have with this deck, is that the cardstock isn't great. But aside from that, this deck is great. This deck is gorgeous. Every single deck I'm showing you tonight is gorgeous in one way or another. Let's start off with the Fool, because that's what I've been doing in all of these videos. We're going to start off with the Fool. Look at the Fool. But the colors and the style and all of it, it's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, obviously I wouldn't have bought... Oh wait, I didn't even show you the back. Why didn't I not show you the back? Like, that's important. The backs of decks are important, Anya. You have to show them off. Here is our High Priestess. I think she's one of the reasons I bought this deck too, because I love the High Priestess, but I love how she's featured here. Just, I mean, to be fair, I like my, maybe if I put it over here, slightly better. I like my High Priestesses, I imagine High Priestess sitting, or actually more like standing amidst standing stones, dancing, or like the figure in the Druidcraft Tarot, just among the stones, reaching out, whether praying or sometimes dancing. I see this picture on Facebook all the time, but it's usually a figure standing amongst the standing stones with a staff. Like, that to me is High Priestess. A lot of people would like their High Priestess sitting in big throne awaiting divine wisdom, but I guess I think of High Priestess as wisdom and feminine wisdom, but active in it. That's an image that just sticks with me and feels very powerful to me. But I like this. I think I like this primarily because I like pomegranates. And she got a big old pomegranate there. And I like seeing that featured so prominently in this image. But the artistry here is interesting. There's no Hierophant card, and it's been replaced by Faith, which still works. Still works. And there's different sorts of faiths on there, and I like that. I like that there's sort of like good representation there of different faiths. I think that's good and important. Let me show you strength. I think in the 3 other videos I've done tonight, I don't think I've shown the strength card yet. Check out this one. Check out this badass one. If I can get the glare to stop happening on these. Yeah. Badass. Unless I go to edit these videos and I find out that none of this recorded. I mean, the video itself will record, but will the images record? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know, but we're trying anyway. We're trying, because again, Anya, you don't get better unless you try. Right? Right? Yo, this dude. My dude. My hanged man is hanging from some aerial silks. Guys, I started doing aerial silks before this pandemic hit. I miss it so much. I had only done like 3 classes, but I was like, yes, when I get back from Scotland, I'm going hardcore into my aerial silks again. And I can't. I still can't. I know that is not the tragedy of this whole situation. It is just something that I think we're all at a point where we're having things that we're thinking about, the things that we're missing that we wish could go back to normal. I don't want the world to go back to normal 100%. Like, I would rather see the world start to change in a way so that we can make the world better. And this is, in some ways, it's an opportunity to do that. Like, we've had a big upheaval the entire world, so it just seems like it is a time and a space where we can work to make the world better rather than just going back to normal and the status quo. But there are some things I would like to see start returning to normal. I would love to travel again. I miss being able to do that. I'm totally happy to wear masks now. I'm totally fine with that, but I would love to be able to go to the grocery store and not feel so compelled to sanitize every single thing that I buy. That I think that a few times has caused some little mental health snaps for me. Just, did I wipe this thing down? Did I do this? Did I do? So there's a few things that I would like to see return to some normalcy, and I would love going back to aerial silks class because that felt like a fun way for me to be able to keep physically active and fun, feminine, just stuff I needed more of in my life, man. I had a lot of reasons for going and starting doing that, and maybe I'll talk about them at some point, but right now we're not talking about it. We're talking about Legacy of the Divine Tarot. I'm just gonna go right to wands. Some of these videos have been going on for a long time, so I don't know how long I want to keep them, but I'm trying to make sure I don't show off every single card, but I could also, not go off on tangents about aerial silks. We're okay. Wands. Your Ace of Wands. This deck, really, for trying to get the lighting right, none of these pictures are going to come out. It's because, are they so shiny? I don't think they are. I love the dragons flying around in this image, by the way. It shows that intensity of the wands and fire, and obviously dragons are connected with fire. There's so much about like the imagery here that I do really love because it's unique, but I think if I were to keep this deck, if I could keep this deck, which I'm not going to, because to get rid of some of these decks, and I've already gone through 2 decks where I'm like, oh well, maybe I can keep this one. Like, if I could keep this one, this would, I think, would be one that would turn into an arts and crafts project. Maybe just frame the cards and maybe hang them up in like my house or my flat, whatever. Let me show you this one. I think this is a really good representation of the Five of Wands. I love that it looks like there's 5 figures and they're all fighting each other like you would see in the Five of Wands, but they're all part of the same tree. So they're all part of the same growing piece, but they have no idea how to work with one another, how to balance out each of those limbs. I like that. There's something different about that. It's not 5 separate people fighting each other. It's 5 pieces of the same thing all fighting with one another. Say you're working on something that you're passionate about, and it's this, but you have like several different ideas all for the same project that you want to work on. And then it's like, how do you work on all 5 things? They're all competing for your attention and it's all for the same project. But so I get it. And I think that makes sense for it too. I love it. And now, I don't know, man. There's just so many of these that are nice. Look at this 10 of Wands. Cards are falling. Don't fall. Like this 10. I like how he's packed up the 10 Wands. He's tied them up and made them slightly less of a hindrance to carry. This deck, I think one of the reasons I got this deck is primarily because of the aces and also the court cards. The queens in this deck, so fierce. So fierce. And as a woman myself, I like seeing fierce queens. Yes. The court system works as page, knight, queen, and king. I will show you them right now. Here's Page of Wands. Knight, I don't know that you ever actually see a physical knight. You might just see their helm, if I'm not mistaken. But that's okay. This one's got 2 dragons fighting at the bottom of it. That's pretty badass. Here's our fierce Queen of Wands. She is staring into your soul. I don't gotta say nothing about it. She just is. And here's our King of Wands. So there's an intensity in some of those court cards. And again, here we go. Let's talk about the intensity of the aces. It's the Ace of Cups. If this picture actually shows up, well, I don't know, guys. I think I said this in the Good Tarot show off. I love all the blues. All the blues, the pretty blues. I do like this 2 of Cups. I like actually all of these cups. Maybe I bought it for the cups. Just for the cups. I'm usually not, I don't know, I'm not always crazy about cups, but like, I like this. It's simple, but it's not like over, you know what this is gonna end up being? You're gonna end up hearing me have this talk over, when I start editing this, I'm gonna just put like pictures of the actual cards over them. I'll take some somewhat decent pictures and just have me talking about how frustrated I am that you can't see any of these pictures over it. How about that? How about that, Anya? Would that work? You want to make yourself look like an idiot? Why not? Who cares? It's just you. Ah! You can't see it, and I'm so upset because I like this 4 of Cups. I like this 4 of Cups. Man. I like the 6 of Cups too, the daydreaming. Oh wait, hang on. No. You all gotta see the 7 of Cups. All these different cups with all the things that you can get and achieve if you work hard enough, but you can't achieve any of it because you can't see it in this picture. Why? Why is this one so especially shiny? Like, what do I gotta do? You know what? Now I'm just gonna start talking about the cards because I'm not even gonna try to hold them up for you to see because you ain't gonna see it because I got a janky setup. I'm gonna keep saying janky. Jankies. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? 8 of Cups, I like it because you have the figure coming out of the water, but like below the water, he looks like an octopus. And I mean, I just think that's cool. There's something also about, a little bit about like the moon symbology in there because the moon is all about like illusion and seeing things that aren't there. So is it like, is this actually a person or is it actually an octopus? Oh my god. It's both. Octopus man. You guys, you have to see the 10 of Cups. I have to show you the 10 of Cups because it's a cute little orange kitty sleeping with a golden retriever and it's so cute and they're just happy and snoozing by the fire and I love it. It's so cute and pure. I love it. I love it. Meh. So you have gotten to hear me freak out while I show you the picture of that. I hope you're thrilled about that. We'll quickly show off the knight, well, the page, the knight, the queen. The queen's eyes, man, are intense. She's staring into your soul. I kind of like the top of her dress, though. Like, dress I would wear. I'd wear that dress. I'd wear the hell out of a dress like that. So I'll show you the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. Yeah, you know, I'm realizing I definitely bought this deck for the queens. Every queen I see in here is just so badass and fierce, and we women need to be more empowered, so hell yes. Moving on into swords. Show off the ace. I really like this two of swords, though. I like the dark blues mixed with the purples. Like, it's really intense and cool. This three of swords. Obviously, this is usually always the heart with the swords through it, but this is a little bit different. The heart on the face, the tear coming out of the eye, and the tear is what breaks the heart. That's interesting. These swords, though, I don't know, man. On the one hand, I'm like, well, the handle of the sword looks like it would break. But the other half of me is like, can you imagine getting stabbed with that thing? That would hurt. It would hurt, man. I don't know, man. I just like the four of swords because dude looks like, well, I don't know, he's floating above the swords, but at the same time he looks like he's sleeping. And sleep ain't a bad idea. I like the idea of sleep. Who doesn't? If y'all don't like sleeping, who don't? I really like the six of swords in this deck. And the seven of swords. Yo! But we gotta talk about the eight of swords. Really gotta talk about the eight of swords in this deck. Because it still has that same feeling of like being trapped and stuck and blindfolded and not sure where you can go forward. Love that. But I like the spiderweb imagery. This is a card that I kind of like the idea of framing, but maybe it's because I like spiders. But so many people, like, that's just it. It kind of, if you were reading with this deck, this would look like a very negative card, and it kind of is, symbolizing fear of getting stuck, but also not knowing how to move forward. I get it. I just like the spider. Although, is the spider have a Gemini symbol on its tongue? I don't know that I like that. I like the 9 of swords and the 10 of swords, how they portray those two very challenging cards, you know, staying awake at night because of, dude, any of these swords, man, these are painful. The staying awake at night, the inability to sleep due to thoughts. I love that even from the swords in the 9, the one that is closest to her head, it almost looks like there's these like ethereal, ghostly hands coming down to be like, or just reach inside your mind and keep you from sleeping all night. And then you have the 10 of swords, which, you know, does look like a figure who's surrounded by all these swords trying to, you know, it's the culmination. You know, we're at the end of it. You gotta pull those swords out and go somewhere else, man. You can't do anything more with them swords. I like it. Page of swords, knight of swords. This queen is yes, fierce, but I don't know. I don't get the feeling of Queen of Swords like I do in other decks with her. Something about it that just doesn't connect with me. I like her hair though. I like braids. I like braids. I wish I could do more braids in my own hair. I would love to be able to do my hair regularly, like Lagertha from Vikings. I always say her name wrong because I always thought it was Lagertha. And then I watched the show, or at least a couple episodes of the show, and I was like, oh, it's not that. It's Lagertha. I don't know. I'm never gonna be able to say it right because I said it so much in my head every time I saw the name. Then I watched it and I'm like, I'm never gonna remember that. Guess it don't matter. Here is the ace of coins. I love the bright greens and golds in this. I'm just drawn to colors, man. But I love, what sort of bug is that at the top? I want it to be a spider, but I don't think it's a spider. I like the acorns, the little hedgehog. It's all cute. It's all cute. I like the 3 of coins. You can definitely see like the work ethic and the improving upon a craft and skill in it. I love it. I'm very much a pentacles person, just because my sun sign. Just because being a Capricorn, it helps me. I think in some ways it just, I don't know. I think it contributes to some of my earthiness. Loving the earth-like tones and colors, especially in this deck. That 5 of coins in this deck is oof, that is intense. This is an intense one. Oh, let me get to my fave girl. Yes, this is another reason I love this deck. I have said it before, I'll say it again, I will say it forever. I love the 9 of Pentacles, 9 of coins in this deck, 9 of pumpkins in the Halloween tarot. I love that card because I love just seeing this empowered figure standing there, usually with a bird, like that their own pet or something that they've tamed, surrounded by, in some senses, opulence, but some ways just showcasing like, I've worked hard, I have achieved all of this, and I'm standing here by myself because it was me. I did it with my inner strength, my ambition, my drive, my ethic. I did it, and I love that card for that. I love that card for it. And I love this one because there's so many colors here. I want to do my hair like that. I would wear a dress like that. I love all the flowers. I think they're probably roses, but they also remind me of like, they also kind of remind me of like moonflowers that you would like put on a trellis so that they would open up when the moon comes out. Like, I know they're probably, like, they kind of do look more like roses. It's kind of hard to tell, but they do also remind me of moonflowers, and I think those are so pretty. There's just so much about this image that I love. All of the colors, all of the brightness, but also the celebration of like, I owned my life and I fucking did it. Awesome. You go, girl. Let's finish out with our courts, with our royalty, with our royalty even, in the coin suit. We got our page, got our knight. Again, once again, we're just seeing helms here with the knights and then an animal to go with it. And I think horse works. I like the horses for how connected humanity has been to horses, how important they have been to shaping societies and cultures and humanity's own growth, just in terms of like helping us with agriculture, but also in helping us travel. And they're also they're loyal animals too. I like it. I like that. I think that works. I think this Queen of Coins is also very fierce. Although, I don't know. It's one of those cards where like, I feel like I'd pull that out during a reading and I'd have to go just by knowing Queen of Coins, what it means. I don't intuit anything in looking at the picture. I think I would just have to go with sort of understanding what it means to be a Queen of Coins or a Queen of Pentacles. But still badass, and I still like seeing badass queens in tarot decks. Then you also have your king. It's very interesting that in all of these cards, the queen has always been a close-up of a figure. Actually, all of the court cards, the page, the queen, who you see faces of, and even the knight, which is just a helm, but it's still focused on the helm, the face aspect. For those court cards, you see like close-ups, more extreme close-ups, not like but like a upper body to the face. It's more close up on the face, whereas for the king, it's more zoomed out and you see most of his body as he stands there. So it's interesting that was done. That might be covered in the book. As I said, I did not read the book. But it is a nice deck, and obviously I bought it because the art appealed to me. I loved the colors in this deck. I love that the edges are all black. I think if there's a border, I like the idea of there being a black border because it helps me see the image better. I think sometimes I can just get distracted by too much white space. I know that when I read things, I prefer to have black background with white text because it's easier on my eyes. So I think I'm someone that I like having the black borders here because it helps me focus in on the actual picture. So, but also because black as a color makes everything around it pop. So when you have some of these intense colors in here, like this deck does, it's nice to have the balance of the black to help make those colors pop even more. So I obviously think this is a beautiful deck, and we'll see what I end up doing with these. Again, I could end up donating them somewhere. I could decide to give them away to friends, but maybe I'll decide to do a giveaway if anyone's interested. But that is Legacy of the Divine Tarot, and comes in a big box, a big old book, big old everything. Except for the cards. The cards are actually a decent size. They fit, if you want to see the size of my hand versus the cards, they fit easily in my hands. They're easy to shuffle. Like, they're not too big of cards, which is nice. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I hope you liked, and I hope you have a great night, day, afternoon, whatever. Just have a great. Bye!